All right, hello everybody and welcome to the TTRC World Endurance Championship Round 2. 1 hour of Laguna Seca. I am DJ Brohawk bringing you all the action, but first we have some graphics to go over. This was from Round 1 at Daytona last month? I forget exactly when it was. Recently, we have two classes here at the WEC. We have the Hypercar class, which features your LMP1 type cars, and then the GT3 class. 2 cars for 7 teams here, and you can see on the screen we have the results from race 1. DC Team Endurance took the top spot in the Hypercar class, just 2/10 over Esports Race Asylum. A heck of a race there. 2 hours and less than a second separated the top 2. Then we have the Humble Guys in P3 in the Hypercar class, Team RCM in P4, and then DC Team in P5. That is a separate team from DC Team Endurance. Then we have the winner of the GT3 class. The Esports Race Asylum team was in P1 of the GT3 class, followed by DC Team Endurance in P2, the Humble Guys in P3, DC Team in P4, P5 was PFL Core, and Team RCM P6, and then P7 was Team DSR. They had 3 DNFs in round 1, 2 hypercars, one from DSR and one from PFL Core, and then the 1 GT3 car. Unfortunate situation there. And moving right along, I see that I have the same graphic up here twice. We're going to go to the point standings here so far after round 1. So P1, there's only been 1 race, so the points pretty much speak for themselves. Looks like only the top 4 or 5 have points so far due to some disconnects and some other shenanigans that were going on. But in P1 for now, we have Team DC Team Endurance with 36 points. The Humble Guys in P2 and Hypercar, 25 points. Then Team RCM with 20. Team DC Team, say that 5 times fast, in P4 with 15, and then the other 3 teams currently have 0 points. P1 on the GT3 side is DC Team Endurance with 32 points. P2, the Humble Guys with 29. DC Team with 20 in P3, PFL Core with 15 in P4, and Team RCM with 11 P5, and then DSR and Lone Wolves Motorsports, P6 and 7, currently with 0 points. Moving on to today's race, 1 hour of Laguna Seca. This is round 2. We are using the Hypercar and the GT3 categories. Once again, 3.6 kilometer lap. This is the shortest lap on the WEC calendar. Still a very tricky track. There is a lot of different kinds of corners. If you've ever driven this track, you know how tricky the corkscrew can be, especially in those high downforce cars. Having to slow way down going up the hill can be a very tricky track for anyone, but especially the Hypercar class. Moving on to the qualifying here for the Hypercar class, we have Esports Race Asylum in P1, and then Team Team TTRC Reserves, which I guess is not a team, it's more of a title? Not sure. Either way, Sharp from that team, just 4/100ths of a second behind in P2. Very impressive. Team RCM, 3/10ths behind. DC Team just behind them as well in P4. P5 is DC Team Endurance, just behind them. And then we have the Humble Guys in P6, a second and a half behind. And then we have Team DSR, 2.7 seconds behind. So the top 5 really not separated by that much. Should be an interesting race. Now let's move on to the GT3 qualifiers here. We have DC Team in P1, then DC Team Endurance in P2, very, very close behind. So that's very impressive. The 2 Italian drivers there. Very, very close indeed. Team RCM is in P3, and then we have the Humble Guys in P4, Team DSR in P5, and then TTRC Reserves P6, and then the Lone Wolves Motorsports with no time set at all. So, with all that said, let us get to the action. The race will start in just a moment as I get everything set up. And away we go. Kind of away we go. I believe they do the formation lap here. Hello, Evo. Yes, close quality indeed. It was very impressive. Very, very impressive. And hello, Wayne, as usual. My ever-faithful co-commentator, Wayne, who could not join me today, but could at least join me in the chat. So while they're doing the formation lap, have a look at the absolutely outstanding liveries here. Of course, the folks at Race Asylum, JP, always puts together just some outstanding liveries. Really cool looking design. Ever faithful except now. That's right. Looks like we have some standard. I'm sorry. I need to pretend to be from the UK. We have some bog standard Toyota liveries here. Although I do like this livery. It looks pretty cool. Very close quality, short but technical track. Absolutely. This track can be it's very easy to get corners on this track wrong. And when you do so, you lose tons and tons of time. Got a livery from Dauntless Racing. That's what DSR stands for, presumably. Nice, clean blue livery there. Hello, Hansa. How's it going? Quickly looking through the GT3 field, we have the 650 from Team DCT. And then the GTR. I'm surprised to see people still driving this car with the amount of times it's been nerfed. Very clean looking white GTR. We have the Porsche from Team RCM. Nice looking livery there. Bog standard AMG livery. We have the 650. I believe that is also bog standard. And there's Hansa. Doing good, feeling old. Ah, the Race Asylum livery. So good. All right. Pace cars in the pits. I believe it is up to Evo to take them to the green flag. All tires are usable. And now we are officially underway. So let's see how turn 1 shakes out in these GT1 cars, or what, Group 1. Never get them right. Group 1 cars. Looks like it's pretty clean through there for these cars. How about the GT3 cars? Very orderly. No carnage. Very orderly. We also have a bog standard Ferrari in here. So we have hello cars, hello DC drivers, welcome. Nice move to the inside by Kaza there. Or how did Urban Pirate say it was like Kazar? Something like that. In any case, Kaza with the quick early lead. We have Rosas behind Evo, and then we have Mantaneo P4 and Schechter in P5. Let's see how this race develops as we go forward here. Kaza is on the soft, so that would be why he went for a move early. Hey Larson, how's it going, my friend? Looks as though some of the liveries won't load world class. Well, you know, this is what happens when your American commentator has obligations. I figured most people's probably had liveries. I would hope so. It's probably a requirement. Pastina Calda, hello, my friend. How you doing? It's a very close race here. It'll be interesting to see how strategy plays out. I noticed everyone was in the GR010 Toyota. Thought I might see some 919s, but the hybrid lasts so long in this car, it's probably for the best. Let's see how we're doing. The field's starting to spread out a little bit in the Group 1 class. Looks like everyone's formed a nice orderly line here. Let's go on board with Hansa and see what he can do. See if he can make a move on the Porsche. Maybe a little tap. It's such a frustrating experience. So we have Hansa on the softs. So it can be really frustrating to feel like you're stuck behind someone, but you can't get around them. All about setting up the move. Sometimes, especially if you know you're on a softer tire, you can set up a move in a previous corner and get a better exit than the person in front of you. Let's see if Hansa makes a move here into the corkscrew. Nope, a little too bit far back. Saber Venom with a little bit of a late break. No harm, no foul. Going back through the Toyota Group 1. Sausage Fest isn't the right term, but you know what I'm talking about. Everyone's in the same car. Group 1 Toyota party. Most everyone is on medium tires. Arcanite is on soft tires. To be fair to everyone in the Group 1 cars, those cars are so hard to drive consistently fast. They're a lot of fun to drive. It's so hard to be good in them, especially on a track like this. It looks like the closest action we have in the Group 1 is between Evo and Mantineo here. Kaza has left the building, at least for the moment. Kaza's on the soft tires, so it will be interesting to see how long those last, how long Kaza can get them to last, and whether that's actually the best strategy. Evo's still with some clean track, so he can put down some laps. So far, no real attempt to make a move for Mantineo. Scary when they come by at times. Oh yeah, they're so much faster. They're so much faster. If you're not aware of what's going on around you, people's races can be ruined real easy. It looks like the GT3 bunch is somewhat grouped up. Stick with Mantineo for the moment. Looks like they're just content to ride around behind Evo, and to be fair, I compliment Evo all the time, but that is certainly a driver that is fast enough to pull you around if you don't think you can get by them, and you wouldn't really lose any time. Let's see, Mantineo, does he have eyes on making a move? Maybe going into the hairpin in turn 1. Does he set up a clean exit? Not really. He got a little wiggly. I don't think this will be the time. May not be enough time to get in the toe of Evo and make a move. No, poked his, he peaked. Ultimately nothing. Let's see what else is going on here. So we have Zero Fight and then Manos 1. P9 and 10. With a battle here early on in the race. Still only 7.5 minutes in. Will Manos make a move? No. See if they can use the acceleration of that AMG. It looks like Zero Fight got a good enough run out of that final corner to where there won't be a move made into turn 1. Nope, no move made there. And it looks like we have a spin on the track. I just saw an arrow point sideways. That is Arcanite, and that is brutal to have happen. Fortunately for them, no damage, but that will definitely set them back. Can I do the replay thing on a replay? No, I can't. I tried. I even got the keyboard. Shame on your commentator. Look, now you have keyboard disconnected on your screen. Professional, we're real professional here. So that's a tough break for Arcanite, so we'll see if they can rebound going forward. Meanwhile, we have Nikki in P1 of the GT3 class just driving away with it for now. Of course, they're in the 650, which is such an incredibly strong car, especially for endurance races with how kind it is to the tires. And they're on soft, so they will be driving away with this presumably for a little while. Going back in the GT3 pack, we still have a battle going on for P2. Look here, Wayne, it's not my fault. It's Gran Turismo's fault. I'm watching, this is a rebroadcast. So we have a nice little pack of 4 cars, all on the medium tires except for Saber Venom. See if a move can be made here. Manos was thinking about it, but a little bit of a defensive line for Zero Fight, and Manos is going to have to go the long way around. But don't forget, there are 2 cars right behind. Gran Turismo is a cursed platform. Yes, it is. It's a lot like life in that it's tolerable and we deal with it because there's just nothing better. Commentator's excuse. Look, if I had the ability to fix it myself, I would. Oh, Manos is going to try and hang it around the outside. Ooh, that was really close. Really nice racing by those two. Zero Fight giving plenty of room. This is a tricky corner to go side by side, and yep, there goes Manos off the track. Unfortunate situation there. A little bit of contact from Zero Fight. And now we have the first of the Group 1 cars going through. Let's see how Kaza handles this. Kind of just went around Hansa there. Hansa talked earlier about how scary it is. So we're only on lap 8, and we're seeing some of the GT3 cars get quote-unquote lapped by Kaza. We thought about diving to the inside. I think Zero Fight wanted to get out of their way. Here goes the super hybrid Group 1 car. There goes Kaza. Done well enough by all involved. It was a tricky spot. It was a tricky spot to overtake the much slower cars. And soon Mantaneo will be involved in that as well. So we have P3, 4, and 5 in the Group 1s. All relatively close to each other, within about a second or two. Still all to play for in this one. Evo doing a little bit better with his tires than the other two, I've noticed. This stuff can add up over a run. So now we have Mantaneo, who makes a nice overtake of Hansa. And now a really awkward situation with Mantaneo, who, fortunately for him, the GT3 cars get out of the way, even though it was a battle for position. Now he'll have to try and overtake Mario. See if he can get it done before this right-hander. It'll be kind of tricky. Will he dive down the inside? No. Oh, that was awkward. Very awkward. A little bit of contact, it looked like, from the replay, but the cars didn't go flying, so that may have just been weird netcode situations, but looks like all are well. Evo got stuck behind the GT3 cars in the final corner. That is brutal. Could you imagine Gran Turismo having like 3 times as many cars as this? It would be absolutely pandemonium. You're right, Mario. I get caught up in chase cam all the time. So, still, that's a pretty sweet camera angle right there. So we still have the 3 Group 1 cars, all P3 through 5, all pretty much nose to tail. There's not a lot going on. Kind of the train, as they say. So let's go through the field here. So we have Kaza, who is well out in front of everyone else on the soft tires, currently leading the Group 1s. We'll see how their strategy plays out. We have Mantaneo in P2. Presumably one of the DC Team drivers. I'm not exactly sure which, if it's DC Team Endurance or DC Team, but they are currently in P2. They're the leader on the medium tires, so that'll be interesting to keep up with as we go forward. P3 is Evo, also on the medium tire, a few seconds behind P2. Then we have Roses, who is immediately behind Evo, and then Scheckter just served a penalty. They were pretty close to P3 and 4, but not now, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Then we have, now I'm sure the UK people are going to make fun of me when I pronounce this wrong, because I know this is the name of a Ferrari, and I actually don't know exactly how it's pronounced, if it's like Scuderia or Scuderia. I don't know. So, apologies. I don't know my Ferraris. The only Ferraris I know are numbers. Anyway, they're in P6 on the medium tire, and they do have some damage, which we missed how they picked up that damage, but that is unfortunate for them. They will be slowed down quite a lot by that. P7 is Arcanite from Team DSR. They are on the softs. We'll see if they can make up some ground on the folks in front. P1 in the GT3 cars is still Nikki from one of the DCT teams in the 650. Currently dealing with a hard-charging Evo. Speaking of hard-charging, we just had an overtake for P4. It looks like Evo might have made a mistake, because now Scheckter and Evo are right on top of each other, and Roses has put a little bit of a gap on Evo and Scheckter, who are now battling into turn 1. We'll see how that plays out going forward. Real quick, we'll go down the rest of the field. We have Mario in P9, who is the leader of the cars on medium tires. Mario has created a little bit of a gap as they go through turn 1. And you can see P10, 11, and 12 overall. That is, I believe, 3, 4, and 5 in the GT3 class, right on top of each other. They are all on the medium tires, I do believe. Nope, Hans is on the softs. I said that earlier. Hans is trying to make a move now to gain some ground while he still has some life in those good tires. Then we have P12 overall is Saber Venom, also on the soft tires. And then we have Manos 1 in P13 overall. And then we have Calypso in P14, also on the soft tires. In the Ferrari, which I know the Group 3 one is not the most fun car to drive. So it looks like Evo has pulled clear of Schechter just a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that one. Looks like Rosas and Scuderia are by themselves, as is Arcanite. Nicky's still by themselves in P1 in the Group 3 class, but they are on the soft tire. So we will see what they do with that. Now, looking back down the GT3 field, we have Mario in P2 in the Porsche. They have pulled a little bit of a gap over the other three. I love these TV cameras. They just... One thing Gran Turismo does really well is cameras like this one, where it's like you're in a drone, flying in a drone, because in real life racing, you don't really get anything like this consistently. Hansa, though, not really able to catch up with Zero Fight. Zero Fight's fastest lap so far is a 23.0. Hansa's is a 23.2. And there is a lurking Group 1 car. That is Arcanite. Let's see how Saber Venom gets on as Arcanite approaches. Arcanite being maybe a little passive going into the corkscrew. Still watching to see. These overtakes are so tricky. Arcanite choosing to take their time. Maybe now will be the spot where they overtake. There's one spot for Arcanite. Let's see what happens. There's another. Surely they won't be able to make up the ground on Zero Fight here. Nope. Yes, Evo, you're right. The GT3 group, there's 3 or 4 that are really within striking distance of each other. You know, one little mistake from the people in front, and suddenly you've got a chance for a position. And this track is notorious for chewing you up and spitting you out. So Evo and Schechter still, I would say they're maybe a second and a half away. The toe might be broken at this point. Yes, Nicky is just flying. Strong car with good, good on tires. It's easy to see why they would be doing well, but that right front is starting to wear pretty low. Going back through the GT3 field, Mario's still the leader of the medium tires, but Zero Fight and Hansa and Saber Venom are all right there. We're talking like a 3-second gap. Almost 20 minutes in. Still a 3-second gap between these 4 GT3 cars, which is very, very impressive. Also pretty strong wind here as well. Blowing to the up and right. I don't know if that's technically the northeast or not. Wind in this game makes such a big difference. Other than that, it looks like these 4 cars are really the closest action we have. Looks like Kaza will be pitting soon. Kaza running in the mid-13s for the most part on average. Something also to keep in mind is that the hybrid, as we have our first pit stop, and a mistake from Saber Venom there as we saw it on Kaza as Kaza went by. Kaza should be pitting any moment now. Scuderia in the pits. Looks like they're the first to make a pit stop. And yes, here comes Kaza into the pit. Something to notice, and something I absolutely cannot stand about this game, is that you cannot control the hybrid output. So once the hybrid runs out, that's it. Pretty much. You can regenerate it a little bit, but it's not like the 919 where you can regenerate. It lasts a lot less longer. I don't know if that's proper English. It does not last as long as the GR010 hybrids does, but the 010s does not regenerate well whatsoever. You cannot adjust it at all. It's a really annoying thing about this game. So Kaza going back out. No, he's on the mediums now. And so with that, we have Kaza in 4th. Right behind Roses, whose mediums are starting to look pretty suspicious at this point. So, provisional pole. Manzaneo for now. We have Arcanite into the pits for the first time. Oh, I believe that, Mario. If you're in onboard, if you use cockpit cam, oh man, that's got to be scary. Without a spotter especially, that's got to be awful. Speed difference is even more scary at Le Mans as the Group 1 really get up to speed, and especially this particular Group 1 car. This one gets up to over 200 miles an hour. The 919, I think, only gets up to about 175. So this car is crazy fast. We just had Manzaneo overtake Mario here. Looking through the field now. So, for instance, we have Manzaneo, who has a lot more hybrid left than Evo does. This kind of thing could matter, as we have an awkward overtake by Evo with a GT3 and a lapped Group 1 car. That was a nice overtake. Very difficult to get that one right. Now Evo approaches Hansa. Naturally, Hansa just takes the racing line. Now we have Rosas into the pits for the first time. No fuel taken for any of these folks, which makes sense because they've only used about a third of a tank so far, in the Group 1 cars anyway. We have Scuderia overtaking Nicky, the lead GT3 car. Looking down the track, now Scheckter goes to make a move on Hansa. This is where the trickery of an endurance race comes to play. So, I mean, you see this, right? This is 14 cars. Could you imagine 60 cars with 3 different class of cars? With the LMP1s, the LMP2s, heck, they used to do LMP3s, and then the GT3s or GTE or whatever they were, you know, they keep changing it every 2 years. You have all these cars that are like different speeds. Insanity. Absolute insanity. Checking on our GT3 battle here. So we still have a battle for P9. I believe that is P3 overall for the GT3 category. Sorry, P2. The math ain't mathin' over here. Seraphite and Mario in a battle for P2 with a Group 1 car sneaking down the inside. That was close. Scheckter with a nice move. Mario, good job using the indicator to let the Group 1 car know that Mario wanted him to overtake. Kazad dives down the inside under Seraphite. It's so difficult to do this, especially when you're in the zone trying to get your car to go as fast as you possibly can. Looks like Hansa has dropped off the back of Seraphite. There may have been a mistake at some point. Hansa's tires looking pretty worn, plus a half tank of fuel. Now would be a pretty solid time to think about pitting. But we will see what happens. Manos 1 out of the pits on soft tires. Calypso yet to pit. Their softs are looking pretty worn. So your leader for now, still Manzaneo, although Manzaneo has not pit yet. Neither has Evo. Evo's hybrid is almost out. Not even halfway through the race, and Evo's battery is almost completely extinguished. Was building sandcastles. I know what that's like. This track will do that to you. Or really, the track that does it to me is Brands Hatch, although it's not sandcastles every time. Sometimes it's mowing the grass. I just... So Manzaneo still has some hybrid left, so this is what I mean. This is a really easy way to build a gap if you're Manzaneo versus someone like Evo whose battery is completely out, and it does make a difference. It makes a pretty significant difference at mid-speed, and you really just don't regenerate all that much. We have Schechter, whose battery is almost out. Kaza, whose battery is out. Look, there's nothing in there. And this stuff matters. You just don't get that same level of acceleration. Rosa still has some hybrid left. Manzaneo has a lot left. I hit the sausage curb in the first right-hander and went off. Oh, yeah. Every corner, I mean, you could say it's about every track, but this track especially, every single corner is different. You have to approach them all completely differently. It's crazy. You are thirsty, boys. I wish they would plug your car in or something during pit stops. I feel like running out of hybrid. That's not what happens in the real cars. You can like dial it back. I know in Formula 1 you can do that. You adjust how hard the hybrid goes. Something. Or maybe it just regens better in real life. I don't know. So Kaza on much fresher tires is now all over the back of Schechter. Although Kaza losing 2 seconds, there may have been a mistake there. Right, it should fill your battery back up. But you know, if it did that, it would make this, I mean, this car is already, obviously it's the preferred Group 1 car, but it would make this car like wildly overpowered, even more than it probably already is. We have our first pit stop for Nikki, whose right front is almost completely gone. Really solid drive by Nikki to get such a huge lead. Here we have Zerofight, who is coming around the final corner, and it looks like they will take over P1 in the Group 3 category, the GT3 category. I'll probably not say the same way twice in a row. So Zerofight with the provisional lead, 29 minutes into this race. Going down the grid, we still have Hansa, who is now in P2, and now it looks like we have a little bit of a battle going on, and Mario has picked up some wheel damage. That is unfortunate. And pit stops take a long time in this track. So Nikki is out on the mediums. Looks like Nikki put in a bunch of fuel, maybe accidentally. Actually, no, maybe the McLaren could make those mediums last that long. It looked like the Group 3 cars, so we see a penalty for Roses. The Group 3 cars were using about half a tank per pit stop. Maybe on the softs, hard to say. So, Mario's really struggling now with that wheel damage. Maybe a good idea to pit now and fix it. I seem to recall we did a AHR did a team race here. And I seem to recall pit taking forever. Run wide and just clipped the wall, destroyed my race, running damage for, I don't know why YouTube puts that little heart there. 10 laps. Pitting would take longer than the lap loss time. Yeah, this pit is so long. That's tough, man. That is brutal. So from here, it'll be interesting to see how well hybrid is preserved. Mantineo being able to preserve his hybrid better than the others. We'll see if they can. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there. We'll see if they can keep it going throughout the rest of the race. It will absolutely matter. Mantineo has an absolutely enormous lead now. Been driving extremely well. Tires are about, I would say they're in better shape than Evo's, but they're similar. Now we have Saw McLaren and Saber Venom going into the pits. Yep, that right front is completely gone. Hansa overtaken by Mantineo here. Pitting was very long. When pit loss is short, people be more aggressive on strategy, but when pit loss is long, you want to avoid. Just stay as much as possible. Yep. Absolutely. And yes, we are halfway home, and now Evo is in the pits for the first time. Going to hazard a guess, there's a one-stop strategy here. Are we there yet? You are there yet. DJ, the commentator, is not there yet. So Evo on the softs, it looks like the Group 1 cars are doing about half the race on mediums and about half the race on softs. Evo, just the right amount of fuel left as well. So Evo currently in P4, Schechter P3, they'll be coming in any moment now. That right front is almost completely gone. Kaza 2.3 seconds behind. I don't know if the mediums are just that much slower or if Kaza's really struggling on the mediums. But there could also be lap traffic and things of that nature that'll slow you down as well. Yes, DC, it looks like there's livery bug. Mantineo having a really, really strong race so far. I would expect them to come into the pits any moment now. Grand Bugismo 7. Could be worse. I remember when there was that bug of before daily races would start, the cars would like do wheelies and stuff. Pretty crazy. So Schechter has lapped Arcanite. Evo is now rapidly approaching Arcanite. It kind of looks like Roses might be going for a two-stop. Those tires are pretty worn to make them last all the way to the end. Still 25 minutes to go here. Speaking of tires, Schechter's tires. Yes, Schechter is coming into the pits finally. Schechter will almost certainly be coming out on the soft tires as Evo makes his way around Calypso and Ferrari. So I'm going to say that we don't know if he is actually in the lead or not, because a pit stop still has to be made. It was Kaza. Kaza and Evo have pitted. Kaza is way up the road from Evo. And Evo is way up the road from Roses. Polly Buggany. I love it. Oh, we just had a mistake in the corkscrew, and that is Arcanite, who is having a real struggle bus moment. Arcanite has had a rough day today. To be fair, this is such a difficult track to drive a Group 1 car on. Unsure exactly what happened there. For now, Mario with the wheel damage is in P1 of the Group 3 class, but I have a feeling, yep, here comes Nikki, and Mario still has to pit to get rid of the damage. Zero Fight and Hansa are in the pits. Looks like Zero Fight will come out first. But will it be in front of or behind Calypso? Behind Calypso in terms of where the car is. But Calypso is a lap down. Here comes Mantaneo. So let's see where Mantaneo ends up as it relates to Kaza. I would imagine Kaza will be out in front just because they started on the softs. Oh, this is brutal. Mantaneo's got to wait so long. All right, the softs are on. So as Kaza exits the pits, or not exits the pits, comes to the pit exit, we have, let's see, I would say it's about a 4-second gap from Kaza to Mantaneo. Arcanite plays with VR, came in last minute to step in as DSR's new hypercar driver. I think we'll grow in the car and get used to the fair play. Oh man, if you're jumping into this, look, if you're jumping into any race last minute with this level of driver in it, first of all, you have my respect. Second, you're jumping into this track in a Group 1 car last minute, you have more respect. And if you play in VR, you get triple respect. We have a cluster of cars, and we have a penalty for Roses. Certainly not going to help him chase anyone down. A little bit of a cluster going on here with Schechter, Hansa, and Saber Venom. Ooh, Schechter got a little loose there. I was almost only driving the McLaren for 2 months now and jumped into the Mercedes for this without any practice. Yeah. Mercedes and the McLaren drive very different. Like very, very, very different. Mario still with the wheel damage. To be fair to Mario, I mean, the lap times, when there aren't mistakes being made, the lap times aren't awful. Doing 23s and 24s, that's what Nikki is doing on... Oh, Nikki has damage. Look at that. Oh, that is brutal for Nikki. And Zero Fight is right behind on the soft tires. They are teammates for Team DCT in the one's DC Team Endurance and one is just DC Team. That is brutal, brutal, brutal for Nikki. We didn't see what happened. Unfortunate bumper and wheel damage. It's got to be a miserable experience knowing that it's faster to stay out even though you're just losing gobs of time. I had issues turning right, so not many right corners to lose too much time. Oh, that makes sense. That is true. In America, we mostly only know how to turn left, so... There you can see the gap. Zero Fight to Nikki. It is coming down. Zero Fight on the softs. Nikki with damage and on the mediums. A recipe for disaster. It felt like coming home with the Merc. but needed a few laps to get used to it again. Yeah, the 2020 AMG is a lovely car to drive. It's really nice. So we have Mario in the pits. We have Scuderia in the pits. Mario finally getting rid of that wheel damage, being able to get rid of it. English, my first language, but you would not know. So here we have Hansa looking to overtake Calypso here. Calypso just yields the position. And look, Manzaneo now out in front of Kaza. We didn't catch the overtake, but kind of felt like you knew it was going to happen. Being on the softer tire, Kaza on worn mediums, there's really no way Kaza was going to be able to hold off Manzaneo for the next 19 minutes. Yeah, absolutely, DC. A real shame for Nikki, who had a really strong first half of their race on the soft tires. And here we go. Here comes Zero Fight. I suspect Nikki will not put up too much of a fight. So let's go on board with Zero Fight, see if we can catch the overtake. Yes, Laguna Seca is a very tricky track. You can see the damage on the McLaren. Whoa, Roses is flying by the inside and picks up another penalty. The damage is really evident, and we have Kaza going into the pits again. What has happened here? Nothing. It looks like there's no damage. Kaza just going for a tire change. Anyway, back to this. Will Nikki fight? Oh, looked like there might have been a little contact there, but no harm, no foul. Oh, the worst thing Zero Fight could do here would be crash, and he nearly did it. Even if Zero Fight doesn't know that Nikki has damage, you've got to know you're on the softer tire, and you still have 17 minutes. It's really just a formality. As long as you don't screw your own race up, you're going to get the move done. Zero Fight gets it stopped. Here's the moment. McLaren's so good with its acceleration. But can Nikki hold on? Is Nikki going to go defensive? Yes? No, it was to get out of the way of Manzaneo. Or something along those lines. Hard to say exactly what happened, but we still have a battle on for P1. Nikki's holding it together for the moment. This is where, as a driver, it's so easy to get sucked into the flow of the driver in front of you, and there we go. And Scuderia gets involved in this. It's so tough as a faster car driver to have to deal with battles for position, and there goes Zero Fight, and I suspect this will be the game for the GT3 class for Zero Fight, probably going to drive away with it now. And now Evo, who is in P2, but on worse tires, trying to make a charge for P1. Still a pretty good ways to go, though. Kaza came back out on the softs, but I just don't know if that was a good strategy. Unless he realized he didn't have the fuel to make it to the end. It's going to be tough. I mean, if you look at the P for pit is not on the screen, but you can see that his lap 33 is a 1:42. That is, what, 25 seconds lost. And the mediums, even if they were a second a lap slower, that's still 25 laps you'd have to do just to make up on the softs, just to make it even. And with only 15 minutes left, I don't think there are 25 laps left. Even if they were 2 seconds a lap faster, that's still 12 laps you'd have to do, and that is, it's a lot of laps. Let's see, we have something going on down the grid. It is Manos and Hansa. Hansa on the mediums, but Manos on some really, really worn out softs. Can Hansa make a move, or will Manos drive away with it? And poor Mario, after having that wheel damage for so long, all the way back in P6 in the GT3 class. Looks like Manos holding off Hansa for the moment. You can see, well, you can't see how worn Manos' softs are, but you'll just have to trust me when I say that Manos' right front is about 2/3 gone. Then we have Saber Venom, also on mediums, not that far ahead of Manos. And then we have Nikki, and you can see just looking at the track map in the top right, Xerophyte just went through the corkscrew. Nikki on mediums and with the damage is just now going through the corkscrew. Here we go. Speaking of moves, we go back to Hansa, who was right on the back of Manos through the corkscrew. This may be the only battle for position we have at the moment. Can Hansa use the slipstream of Manos here to get a good enough exit? I'm not sure that he did. Well, he's starting to gain some ground. Does he go for a dive? No. Now he's going to have to follow behind Manos again. Be tough to overtake anywhere else except maybe the corkscrew if he gets that part right. Through the first of the two tricky left-handers. This next one is brutal. Brutal if you hit the curb, it's brutal if you run wide. They both get it dead right. Look at that. Manos driving really well. Not easy to do when you're on a worn out tire. Woo! Hansa gets close there. And to top it all off, look in the rear view mirror of Hansa. We have a Group 1 car, that's Schechter, who goes flying by. A little bit of an awkward moment between Schechter and Manos there that allows Hansa to catch back up. Yes, this is a very good battle. Thing is, Manos is going to try to ride these tires out to the end, and I just don't know if they'll be able to do that. Yeah, look at this. Hansa all over the back of him now. Hansa does have a lot more fuel, so that will play a part as well. This car is going to be a little heavier. Here we go again. Hansa down the inside, and it looks like Manos just lets him have it, doesn't fight it too hard. Now, oh no. Oh no! Hansa makes the overtake and then gets that second tricky left-hander wrong and goes for a spin in the sand. That is brutal, 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 brutal. Unfortunate for Hansa. Big rip indeed. Oh, that's got to feel bad. 13 seconds lost on this lap. That was a 900-degree spin. You were just showing off for the fans. Manos has to feel very relieved because that was a heck of a battle there. Saber Venom on the mediums. I wonder if Manos could have a crack at P10 overall. And let's not forget, there's still 8.5 minutes or so left to go. Nikki in P2 has been driving all by themselves, but the lap times are consistently 1 to 2 seconds slower than Saber Venom. Let's see if we can figure out when. So he hits the apex at 51:35. 51:39. So only 4 seconds behind is Saber Venom. So there could be a chance at P2 for Saber Venom in the GT3 class. It would be a really nice run for Saber Venom if they can catch Nikki, especially with the struggles of his Group 1 teammate this race, who, again, to be fair, triple respect. VR and last minute and no practice and Group 1 in this track. Sometimes it be like that. You struggle in your class and your teammate has a worldie in their class. And then sometimes it's the opposite. They have a mare, as the UK folks like to say. And you go crazy. So we'll try and keep an eye on that. Now it looks like Mario and Manos might have a little battle going on. Mario's pace has been very good since he got rid of the damage and he's on the soft tire. We have a yellow flag. Not really sure what for, we didn't see it. Mario's tires are in much, much, much better condition. Scuderia gets through, has a half-second penalty. So, yep, look at this. Mario all over the back of Manos now. That Group 1 car really brought them close together. Will Mario go for a move? Calypso in the pits, P14. There will not be a move into turn 1. Although Manos runs a little wide. Hold on, everybody. We might have a real battle on our hands. 6 minutes to go. That's like 3 laps, 3 or 4 laps, depending on where they are on the track. Mario likes to bail out. Oh, and Manos runs wide. I don't know if there was any contact there or not. It didn't seem like it, but it was very close. And there goes Manos. Damage. The right front is completely gone. There goes Hansa. I'm sure Hansa waved in a moment of empathy. So let's check on this here. It's developing a scene here. Got him stressed by moving out of the racing line. Manos so unlucky. Yep. Honestly, Mario, that messes with me too. Whenever I start to brake, I'll look at the radar, and if the arrow's doing something weird, it messes me up. I don't know if Saber Venom has enough time. It's going to be close. We could very well have a battle brewing on our hands at the last lap or so. Zero Fight is long gone. Zero Fight, as long as Zero Fight keeps it on the track, P1 in the GT3 class will be his. But P2 could very well be on offer. for Team DSR. Although Nikki is putting out some pretty good laps, even with the damage and being on the medium tire. Let's see how big the gap is now. Corkscrew Apex at 55, 50, 50. Okay, well, Saber Venom just cheated, so that's going to be a penalty. Oh, and Saber Venom's made a mistake right in front of Evo. Oh, no. Saber Venom didn't get a penalty, but made a huge mistake, and now instead of P2 being on offer, P3 is on offer. And Mario is on the sauce. Brutal mistake by Saber Venom, who was driving really well to catch Nikki in P2, and Nikki has to be celebrating. This could very well mean that Team DC Team will go 1-2 in the GT3 class. I imagine Saber Venom's going to try and defend this one. Will Mario set up a move? Trying to take it safe through that left-hander. Under 3 minutes to go. We probably have about 2 or 3 laps left at this point. Can Mario use those soft tires? Looks like Mario's struggling a little bit to keep up with Saber Venom. Oh, and Mario makes a mistake. Oh, that is brutal. It looked like Mario caught the sausage curb and went wide. Really unfortunate. There goes Kaza. Let's check on Kaza here. Still way behind P2 at this point. Evo's tires are looking pretty cooked. Mantaneo. Trying hard to catch, worth a try. Oh, absolutely. That's what we race for. You always got to try and, you know, nobody survived. That's right, nobody survived. Yeah, I mean, that's what we race for, Mario. It's just about, you got to know when to push and do your best. Oh, DC is Zero Fight. Okay, all right, cool. Almost in pit lane. So Schechter's right front. You can't see this on the screen, but Schechter, we still have at least a lap, and Schechter has no right front left. Speaking of struggles, our good friend of the channel, Hansa, has a 3-second penalty. I don't know what shortcut Hansa tried to take to get a 3-second penalty, but I don't think he'll do that one again. Here we go, 30 seconds left. And yes, there's Zerofite, who was just in chat talking about damage. Zerofite, oh look, Zerofite went off the track again. Oh no. Here comes Nikki. Oh, ignoring the yellow flag. I hate that penalty. Is he made a murder? Ignoring the yellow flag. Ah. Past the spun Group 1. Anyway, the race is now officially over. There goes Evo, who's going to finish in P2. Mantaneo is going to have a parade lap, and suddenly this thing is lagging like crazy. What the heck? Coming to the line, Zero Fight finishes P1 in the GT3 class. Kaza finishes P3 in the Group 1 class. I have no idea why this replay is bugging the heck out. Schechter's P4, Mantaneo P1, Rose is P6, Arcanite P7, P1 in GT3 is Zero Fight, P2 Nikki, P3 Saber Venom, P4 Mario, P5 Hansa, P6 Manos, and P7 is Calypso. Now, given that this is a rebroadcast, the replay is going to end literally any second now, so I will say, there it goes. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This was a restream of the 1 hour of Laguna Seca from this past Saturday. Cheers to everyone who joined me in the chat. I appreciate the drivers who were in this coming in and chatting, giving their own perspective of what happened in the race. I kind of like that, actually. Brutally tough race for everyone, but they'll be happy it's over and on to the next one. Absolutely. I actually don't know what the next one is, but I'm sure it will be quite exciting. Mario, thank you for joining me, my friend. Evo, thank you for the kind words as well. I appreciate all of you. I do enjoy doing this stuff, so happy to bring these races to y'all when I can. The next round is 2 hours of Interlagos. That is another tricky track. It is less of a car killer, though. You can definitely lose a lot of time there with small mistakes, though. It's a tricky track for sure. Definitely less sand than Laguna Seca has. But in any case, thanks so much, everyone. You heard it from Evo. The next race, 2 hours of Interlagos. Somebody will be streaming it, whether it's me or one of the other lovely folks that goes with TTRC. Until next time, see ya. Thanks so much for joining. See you next time.